Good morning, everyone. Yes, I'm sitting outside. It's getting light, and though the sky's overcast, we might get some rain today. The birds are twittering. It's just starting to get light. Yes. Where's this going? Let's see here. And I'm home alone. The family's gone off to on their vacation, and sounds like they're already having a wonderful time together. Then I came across something again here that not on a little clip that I've even shared on my Facebook page about a guy who has hundreds of goats, raises hundreds of goats for firefighting. Goats as firefighters. Yes, prep. Where they eat certain vegetation that then makes a fire break. Yes. Oh, and I watched, and I miss my goats. I raised goats. That was one of the first things. I think even before the house was all the way built, we had built the barn first. Yes, log barn, and we did it ourselves. Yes, from a kit, but to practice. Lived in the barn for a while. It was interesting to be in the barn with 3 horses. One of them, liked to bang against the stall door. I don't know. I guess one could get used to anything, right? Sleep anyway. Different way, different lullaby. Oh my gosh. My goats. I loved my goats. I've learned that with my experience with them, they are some of the most amazing animals that one could have as livestock. And on how much they give of their self. And the way we lived, I didn't have to, fencing in goats is it can't be done, no doubt. But really, when it comes down to it, it's better to fence in what you don't want them to get to. And they had a wonderful life. The give and take that I had with these animals was unbelievable. And anytime I see videos with goats, I miss them. And of course, they brought so much trouble with them. Not with me, not with really their surroundings per se, and with other people, with their vehicles, okay. Loved them. Getting all teary-eyed over it. Yet, again, the experience that I had with them was completely different than the experience that I had with them when it came to other people around them. And that brought me to another thing that I've been thinking about, which is, as individual people, as just the people who we are, as an individual, right? As me, as you, right? On how we plow through life in a way, constantly trying to find our place, right? Of peace and harmony, right? Where you just want to be who you are, connected to what? God, yes. And then work with the principles of creation, where we are what? The keepers, the masters. We can keep and use, but never abuse, right? Yes? I saw a thought of someone this morning I'm thinking about things. I'm going to leave it up to God. And the end of the phrase was, how do I keep everyone happy? Right? And it was such I thought, oh my gosh, this is what I just was talking about. And how is that our responsibility? It's not. It's not our responsibility to keep everyone around us happy. You can't do that. It's not possible. Also, often our actions as a good human being, as a Christian of Jesus, are searching and looking and exploring that relationship with God and, of course, our surroundings, they all often get misunderstood. Yes? I went through that for, I I consider myself a kind human being who wants to just help people. That's what I do. I've said that in other videos. I've always had some extra money saved up, and I often it wasn't saved up for me for something. It was when someone would come along and needed some, right? Or I had just the right amount of money with me, and I heard, from someone, can't pay this bill or that bill because I got the money. Here you are. It wasn't even a loan. It's just, I got it. Here. That's, I guess, why I brought it along with me, right? I took so many people in on our farm. Yes, some worked out. Some just used and abused my kindness and the state of the farm. Yes. And then the sad thing about that is when you suddenly realize, well, that person can't stay. The person needs to go. And you set ground rules, where you're going, okay, I have to set these rules now because of your behavior. And I'm not going to not going to give you an inch on it. It's either my way or it's going to be the highway for you. And again, people weren't there to appreciate and grow. Some, not all of them, grow with what was offered to them for free. Okay, for free, just offered. And when they realized that, so what? I can't do what I want here anymore, right? In someone else's place, they would leave. It had run its course for them. Yes? And of course, when one does that, you give up a part of your environment. You give up a part of your peace and harmony, where you're hoping that, build a community. Build a community where everybody works together, where you try to share your own heart to mind, right? Your kindness, your goodness, your willingness to give without conditions. And it's being taken in a completely different way. Yes? So, my children continually say, Mom, you are in the predicament that you are in because you continuously trust people and give them more value than you give them more value than the value that they are willing to give back. Why do you keep doing that? I guess it's something that's just ingrained in me, and I'm not willing to give up. Because I know it's the right thing to do. Because I know that that's how God works. Yes? Unconditional. Unconditional love, unconditional preparedness, right, to receive someone and then hopefully be able to guide them. Often that gets misunderstood. Right? I know that people have labels out there for people like me, like a goody two-shoe or something. Yes, that's not what I am. That's just what I do is that I'm being here taking care of my grandchildren because that works out. Is convenient for my daughter and my son-in-law when it comes to the children of my other daughter and someone else in the neighborhood. Yes? And what am I doing? I'm just giving. Yes? Of course. What am I receiving? Oh my gosh. Being with these children is just so amazingly rewarding. This is not a job for me. This is heaven. And sometimes it feels as if I'm being, by other people, pushed into a situation where I have to become more callous with my own nature. I don't like that. So, as this person that at the sentence trying to make everyone have this, I'm gonna have to leave it in God's hands. That's what I do. It's up to God. I'm doing my part now. I'm going to let God decide where I need to go with this. Yes? As individuals, what do we often do? When you get late, if you make it into later life, I think many people look back and go, dear me, why did I spend so much time on this or that? I feel like I wasted so much time trying to run after someone else, be someone else. Yes? Rather than, where am I at today? And why did I not do that when I was younger? Looking for that peace and harmony within myself, in my surroundings, with the God-given talents. Yes, that every individual has, is given. Goats. Goats are just amazing animals. If they have a good master, they are the most enjoyable animals. And they give so much. Goat's milk is an amazing milk. It has enzymes in it that cow's milk doesn't have. And the amount of healing that you can get from raw goat's milk, I guess pasteurized somewhat, it will work too. But as I said, then the enzymes kind of get lost. Is phenomenal, right? Even in babies that colic, babies that don't have a developed stomach, this that. And goat's milk is amazing. Yeah, it's very rich, so of course you don't give it to them full strength, right? But I've had personal experiences where parents came to and said, we don't know what to do. Do you know? I said, I've got goat's milk. I think it will help. And it sure did. Yes. Well, anyway, amazing animals. Lovable too, just absolutely lovable. When they form a connection with you in the sense of, yep, there comes our master. Just amazing. And they can be very destructive. Yes, one wants to say they're not destructive. They just do what goats do. And if you're in the way of that, just like a storm, a hurricane, a tornado, if you're a sandstorm, if you're in the way, guess what? So a sandstorm, a hurricane, a tornado, whatever storm is destructive or just doing its thing to balance certain things out. if we're in the way, haven't learned enough, and then keep and use things according to on how the principles of creation work, well, whose fault is that? Hmm? Anywho, so that's what I wanted to start out with today. Listening to God. Making God your guide. Yes? And then accept how that's going to work out. Accept. I find that, okay, I know a certain change is needed in certain areas. If you run into something that needs taking care of, like a plow, right, then, well, okay, plowing a field is great too, but that's for a field, right? That's not to plow over people or anything like that. Then, and say, okay, I know a change is needed. How do I approach this properly? So things will get done the way they need to be done or restored, right? Yes? Without just eliminating people out of your life. To make sure that the choice is theirs to stay or leave, for example. So we do lay groundwork. And then, Father, I'm going to try to do this the right way. I'll let you be the guide. And I will abide by and obey your guidance. Yes? All right. So, there is that. That's what I wanted to share this morning. And we are up. We read that God called Samuel. Right? I was laying down, going to sleep. Samuel, Samuel. I'm sure this has happened to other people. Oh, what's again? I wonder how much of a tale this is. I've heard my name, Daniela. What's that? Yes. Well, I heard that clear as day. I'd get up and done the same thing. And suddenly I remember that I know how Samuel felt. Did you call me? Who called me? Well, nobody called you. Well, someone did. Yes. So, yeah. What is truth and what is just made up? Well, I've had this experience like Samuel did, how it is written down here. So I know. Yeah. Yeah. Daniela. What? No. Where did that come from? Oh, I gotta get up and, oh. That happened more than once in my life. I guess always when, interestingly enough, that happened not too long ago, here, actually. 3 weeks, 4 weeks ago. And here we are now in Samuel. Again, how do we know what is truth in here? Is that connection to God really possible? This was thousands and thousands of years ago. And there's a story about, no, don't that Samuel says, well, someone called my name. I remember somebody called my name. And I did. I went to Eli, my adoptive father, the priest that raised me. I asked him 3 times until he told me, because he was still a boy. Oh, God's trying to reach you. Yes? So, again, I often talk from the experiences in my own life when I read the Bible here and then try to make sense of it on how, okay, what went right and what went wrong? Right? How does God connect to us? Right? There's so many people out there. Yes, I know you all believe in God, Jesus, I don't know what, but do you really when it comes down to it? Yes? Or are you competing with God? Are you competing with God? when it comes to many different things. One is judgment. Right? Yes? All right. Defying the Ten Commandments. Okay, all right. We are in 1 Samuel. What's going on? Can't make everyone happy around you. It's not going to be possible. But you can guide everyone around you with the help of our Heavenly Parents. That's what you stick with. And that is an amazing feat if you can do that. Amazing. All right. 1 Samuel 4. And for all Israel, the word of Samuel was as the word of Yahweh. Oh, that's an interesting one. Since Eli was very old and his sons persisted in their wicked behavior towards Yahweh. So that hasn't changed. Interesting. The ark in the Philistine hands. Defeat of the Israelites and capture of the ark. It happened at that time that the Philistines mustered to make war on Israel, and Israel went out to meet them in war, pitching camp near Ebenezer, while the Philistines pitched camp at Aphek. The Philistines drew up their battle line against Israel. The fighting was fierce, and Israel was beaten by the Philistines. About 4,000 men in their ranks were killed on the field of battle. 4,000, consider how many were there actually? Able-bodied men. Remember when they left, it was 600,000, so there's 4,000. Dear me, what happened there all? When the troops returned to camp, the elders of Israel said, "Why has Yahweh caused us to be beaten by the Philistines today? Let us fetch the ark of our God from Shiloh, so that when it goes with us, it may save us from the clutches of our enemies." What did the Israelites just do here? God's not with them. They realize, oh, God's not with us. So what are they doing? Now they make the ark into what? An idol. Thinking that if they have the ark with them, the tent of meeting, okay, in war with them, that's going to have them win. What did they just put their faith into? Interesting. Okay. So the troops sent to Shiloh and brought away the ark of Yahweh, Sabaoth, enthroned on the winged creatures. The two sons of Eli, Hophni and Phinehas, came with the ark. Okay then, right there. They didn't believe. They didn't believe in the proper way of serving God. But here they are with the ark. Was I wrong with what I just said ahead of time? When the ark of Yahweh arrived in the camp, all Israel raised a great war cry so that the earth resounded. When the Philistines heard the noise of the war cry, they said, "What can this great war cry in the Hebrew camp mean?" Hebrew camp. Oh, that's the first time that the Israelites were referred to as what? Hebrews. And they realized that the ark of Yahweh had come into the camp. At this, the Philistines were afraid, for they said, "God has come into the camp." Disaster, they said, for nothing like this has ever happened before. Disaster. Who will rescue us from the clutches of this mighty God? This was the God who struck down Egypt with every kind of misfortune in the desert. But take courage and be men, Philistines, or you will become slaves to the Hebrews as they have been slaves to you. Be men and fight. So the Philistines gave battle, and Israel was defeated, each man fleeing to his tent. The slaughter was very great on the Israelite side. 30,000 foot soldiers fell. The ark of God was captured too, and Hophni and Phinehas, the two sons of Eli, died. You know what comes to mind here? The one thing is the Philistines were afraid of their God. of the Israelites gone. Oh my gosh, they got that now there. Well, we cannot. This is going to be a disaster. So what do we do now? And here's the thing. Of course, we don't hear the whole story, right? No doubt. One of the reasons why the Philistines, it was just because, we had them as slaves, so they're going to make us into slaves if they win. Okay, so they bring that up. Okay? But the reality most likely was that the Philistines also knew how divided the Israelites were, on how maybe the stories about the priests, Eli's sons, and then how they defiled the commands and didn't obey God, may have also traveled. And God didn't do anything. Maybe some other things as well, where the Philistines go, they have a mighty God, but their mighty God is not with them anymore. So, we're going to take heart and fight them anyway. Also, it seems as if, right, if you feared, why was God so feared? The Philistines feared God. They didn't fear the Israelites. They feared God. How come the Israelites weren't able to guide and teach the people around them that weren't part of Israel when it came to God? What happened there? Yeah, I just find it interesting. Right? Yes, now God's all over the world. Right? Does God really just have one people? Or now, in the way that we're taught about God, Jesus, God, the Bible, certain other religions, certain other religions are still just within, their own community. But when it comes to God, right, the Creator, the ultimate God, He's everywhere in many different ways, accepted by people. Yes? Don't you think that's really interesting? All over the world? Something went right somewhere, right? Where was it? Do you know where? Jesus and his disciples. After Jesus passed away, what did the disciples do? He sent them out into the world. All right. We'll get to that too, don't we? All right, the death of Eli. A Benjaminite ran from the battle line and reached Shiloh the same day, his clothes torn and dust on his head. When he arrived, Eli was sitting on his seat beside the gate, watching the road, for his heart was trembling for the ark of God. The man came into that town and told the news, whereupon cries of anguish filled the town. Eli heard the sound and asked, "What does this uproar mean?" The man hurried on and told Eli. Eli was 98 years old. His gaze was fixed. He was blind. The man said to Eli, "I have come from the camp. I escaped from the battle line today." "My son," said Eli, "what happened?" The messenger replied, "Israel has fled before the Philistines. The army has been utterly routed. What is worse, your 2 sons are dead and the ark of God has been captured." When he mentioned the ark of God, Eli fell backwards of his seat by the gate and broke his neck and died, for he was old and heavy. Oh, old and heavy. He had been judge of Israel for 40 years. Interesting. He was old and heavy. Did he also profit from the meat that whatever else that the sons took, and that is why he kept quiet and didn't reprimand his sons, didn't remove them, didn't? I don't know. Death of the wife of Phinehas. Now his daughter-in-law, the wife of Phinehas, was with child and near her time. When she heard the news that the Ark of God had been captured, that her father-in-law and husband were dead, she crouched down and gave birth, for her labor pains had come on. When she was at the point of death, the woman at her side said, "Do not be afraid. You have given birth to a son." But she did not answer and took no notice. She named the child Ichabod. Ichabod! saying, "The glory has gone from Israel," alluding to the capture of the Ark of God and to her father-in-law and husband. She said, "The glory has gone from Israel because the Ark of God has been captured." That's the end of 4. Yep, a lot of people find things in material things. A lot of people find God in material things. And when these things start to disappear, their health starts to deteriorate, this, that, I don't know what else happens, right? Then what? God has left them. This, that. That's how God works. That's where God is. That is how God works. When we think of the 10 Commandments given on the stone tablets, right? Yes? Where do you need to have those 10 Commandments? On the wall or in your heart? I remember learning the times table from 1 through 12. And our teacher told us, you can have those in a bunch of flashcards and carry them around with you all your life. So that when you need to multiply something, you can pull out the one that corresponds to that. Or you learn it by heart. You learn it by heart and you will never forget it for the rest of your life. It's true. I learned the times tables by heart and never forgot. Taught my children. They never forgot. Now my grandchildren are learning them. My 10-year-old granddaughter knows her times tables very well. By heart. We should know the 10 Commandments by heart. I guarantee you that there are very few people out there. Well, one could do, I could do the exercise, right? And ask, what are all the 10 Commandments? People would maybe get 7 or 8 and struggle with 2. Interesting. Even if they have them up on the wall. You've got to have the 10 Commandments in your heart. That is where God resides as well. And of course, in the wonderful things happening around us. Like goats. What's the message here? What do you think the message is here from God? First of all, Samuel. Oh, we're talking about Eli's family now. Samuel is not not a part of 1 Samuel 4 in a way, right? Yes? When God called Samuel, what did he do? He told the boy, you need to go and tell Eli. Give him this warning about his own family. Eli was warned. And what did he do? Then, as old and as heavy as he was, he let the sons do what? With the Ark of the Covenant. Take it to war. And what happened? What do you think the message is there from God? To me, it's very clear. God did not approve of war, regardless. It's already gone so far that, okay, you guys, you're not obeying, you're not keeping the commandments, you care nothing for my guidance and warnings. This is up to you then, because I have nothing to do with that. And they lost the Ark of the Covenant. something that they put great emphasis into. Yes? The Ark of the Covenant. Well, anyway. Interesting what I shared in the beginning. Beware in how you go into battle when there are some things that need to be righted in your life or in your surroundings, and you become the leader and the guide. Just for others. I like peace and harmony in my life as well. Though my goats were a lot of trouble in many different ways, I was in absolute peace and harmony with them. I was. And enjoyed their antiques. But in some ways, some people around me at that time almost wanted me to dislike my goats because of whatever. Right? And said, no, not taking. I'm not going to battle against my goats. Yes, tried to keep the peace on both sides. Interesting. Still learning too. Learning a lot from the Israelites here on what not to do if you want to stay in the presence of God. Done. Yes? Alright, that's all I have to share this morning. Got to get going. Got children coming. And another fun day. We got some art projects to finish up. This, that. It's a good week to rest of the week and next week is a good time to finish certain things up. And, we still have tie-dye to do. Yes, and, no, I'm not going to do it the conventional way. That's, who hasn't done that? No, I got special things in mind on what I'm going to do with tie-dye. Again, I'll go and look. I watch videos of people who are really good at that. And then try to teach the children more than just what? The rubber bands. And then just whatever. Right? And actually do form a certain design. Yes. Okay. Yes. I always like to give a little more than what they've already done before. Yes. Yeah. Where does that come from? Spirit World it's a never-ending story when it comes to anything. Right? Yes, one wonders about eternity. What's eternity? Eternity, right? How's that even going to work? I know how it works. Because though we have so much to explore here on Earth, right? In the right way, again, right? Yes, certain things are being explored. What's it? You don't conquer a mountain when you climb it. You embrace the mountain. You get to know the mountain. And when you get to the top, the mountain, yes, united with you. You made it to the top. The mountain could have just as well thrown you off. You never conquer a mountain. That's silly to think like that. Right there. Good example. Some of the looks that I've got into Spirit World and how certain things work, and there are endless suggestions. There are endless ways, okay, just as eternity, to create something beautiful without damage to anything around you. Yes? Well, anyway, difficult to explain if you have not experienced it yourself. Yes. But there's always time to start exploring, right? Yes? In what way? God's way. God's ideal. And what would that be? Think of what your absolute most beautiful ideal would be in life. Can't make everyone happy out there. Everyone has to come to their own conclusion of what happiness really truly means in their life and how to achieve that. Yes? True happiness. Yes? Well, anyway. That's what I got to give to. Got the gift this morning. Yes? Oh, I'm all excited now. God's love and blessings always. May He protect you, and I will. Another time.